Welcome back to the online version of the Tales of Tech podcast, unfortunately, but I feel like I was just there. Could have
And
been.
now it seems like you might have to be here again.
Dang it. You just had to get something from me, didn't you?
I like to have a reason. I like to incentivize you to come back. I know unless people are watching your live stream, they have no idea what you're talking about. So before we do our our actual episode right now, and hello Drew, nice to see you made it back home safely. You literally just got home and then jumped right to this. Your bed is still made, ready for you right over here. Like and now it looks like you might be coming back.
Perfect.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Not really, but tell people what accidental, idiotic thing happened that made that you purposely are finding reasons to want to come back here.
I didn't realize how much a missing charge brick would cause a domino effect of problems. Oh my God. Just one little thing I forgot. I mean, I guess I could have forgotten bigger things that would have been more problematic, but my MacBook charge brick is pretty much, I've discovered, the only charge brick that can adequately give charge to my MacBook as it's being used. And somehow I totally forgot it. And I thought I did a once over. I looked around where we stayed. It feels so much different now having stayed there and seeing it now. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. Remember how it smelled and sounded, and it just feels that much more real. Like Randy's
Smelled
not
good,
just
by the way. Believe me, very good.
beautiful.
Like
I wish
a
I was
brand new
there right
basement.
now, especially
wish you
with
were
the air
too.
conditioning.
Yeah.
Oh man. But not having that charge brick, which I didn't realize because I got a little bit of sleep last night, but not much because we got home very, very late. And basically, right in the morning, I was like, okay, let me set up everything really quick. I open the MacBook, I plug it into the monitor, I have the stream all scheduled, ready to go. I get the microphone all set up, I get my iPhone all set up. There's like 10 minutes left until the stream officially begins. And I'm like, wait, where's the MacBook charger? And I look in my tech bag for everything. I look in the backpack, I look in the car, I look everywhere I possibly can. And I'm like, I just cannot find this charge brick. I have no clue where it ended up. And I quickly realized that none of my other charge bricks are enough to actually give the MacBook what it needs to hold the charge. All they will do is slow down the discharge rate. Because when I'm live streaming or when I'm editing a video, the MacBook is much more power hungry. So I had to very quickly, within a span of about 10 minutes, switch everything over to the iMac Pro, hope that the beta is stable enough on the iMac Pro so that I can live stream, plug in the microphone, use continuity camera. And boy, I was running late. I was rushing as fast as I could. And then I had to explain to everybody, like, okay, I'm not going to be able to show the editing stream because I can't screen capture and edit simultaneously with my Intel-based iMac. And then on top of that, I believe that the extra heat from the iMac Pro running probably contributed to my iPhone overheating during the recap video. So I got 18 minutes into filming the recap video for the event, and then with the phone, without making a sound, without notifying me that the recording had stopped, it straight up just overheated. And at least I didn't lose the whole video. I guess I could have lost everything. That would have sucked. But yeah, so I had to re-record the whole second half of the video. So thermal limitations are a thing.
Welcome to
And
production hell, man.
I'm in the midst of it all day. Didn't get much sleep.
And you said you got a video out already? At the time of
it's up
recording,
now.
I haven't looked. So
we got it up. It's not the fanciest everything, but I did get the recap up. So it was a longer one because
for the record,
I had a lot of
I voted for you to just reshoot the missing parts, not to fraction. Because Drew said, should I just do separate videos or should I do a whole recap? I was like, do a whole recap. That's on brand for you. I voted for that one, and then I was heavily outvoted. And I was like, oh, okay, never mind.
Unfortunately, the Electoral College won on that one because I didn't do separate videos. I just did a whole event recap because I realized that I definitely wanted all my thoughts on the AirPods and the Apple Watch to get out today.
Yeah,
I was looking at the time, and I knew I wanted to get the podcast out. So I realized, no, I'm not going to have time. So if I don't get the AirPods Apple Watch videos out today, they're going to have to wait till tomorrow because I've got places to be tonight. So
Yeah.
I was like, nope, we got to put it in one video.
So what you're
I'll
saying,
still
I just
probably
realized
do
what you
follow-up
said.
videos, but
You're funny because I just realized you said the Electoral College vote won. What Drew is saying is I have more votes than all of you. That's what I heard.
as do
All
I.
right. Well, as do you. Yeah, the biggest vote of all.
I made the
So,
executive decision.
yeah, you did.
Yeah, people are like, just do separate videos. But I figured I can please both parties. I will do follow-up videos throughout the week that are shorter.
That's why I
because
didn't
know
vote for
that-
it. Like you could do that anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people,
Wow.
that was the third option they probably didn't vote for, but would have, is like, I want videos throughout the week about the event, but I also want an entire event recap today.
Right. Yeah.
So
Well,
it was crazy, but I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts because I know how I feel. I feel like I'm sick of talking about it at this point, but
I
we got a lot
purposely
of
was
new
being very
AirPods
vague in your
information.
chat. I didn't want to talk about it. I wanted to save it for here because many thoughts all together. So with that, sorry about the production hell. And you know what? Just for your credit, I know you're gonna have, you were owning. It's like it's my fault. I forgot my charging brick, but to your credit, I didn't see it either. That thing was invisible. If you're watching on YouTube, it was hiding between my tree right there and my light. It blended so well, I missed it. And I was also looking for the white brick, and you don't have that one. You're using a third party one. What happened to your white? Where's your white brick at?
I sold it.
Oh,
because I was never using it.
See what happens when you cut corners, make a quick buck. Now your Mac is suffering. There's a lesson in there somewhere.
No, there is. I mean, the lesson is to pack your stuff because then I would have been fine if I just had
That's
the charge.
true. You're like, if we're talking about regrets,
however,
the first regret is I forgot it.
Yeah, first regret is forgetting it. If I had forget it though, and I didn't sell the original brick, yeah, we wouldn't have been in this mess. That's true. And I could have just used the MagSafe 3 connector, which I don't like using. I prefer charging with Type-C, but yeah, the cheaper thing obviously would have been just remember what I had. But yeah, there's all kinds of shoulda, woulda, couldas. I wish I would have bought Apple stock the moment I was born. What was I thinking? All I was doing chewing on toys like an idiot. All kinds of regrets.
I'm glad you made it home safe. I'm glad we both got to watch the event, and through a lot of Scotch tape and wet pieces of paper, you managed to, still get a production out. So I call that a win at the end of the day. We can't control those elements like that. So you improvised and you figured it out. But let's talk about the keynote. Is your fan on right now, Drew? Did you turn your fan off?
It is. Can you hear it?
No. I want to make sure your fan's on because StreamYard won't pick it up. All right,
it's blowing very hot air.
Yeah, I wish
the iMac Pro is not. The iMac Pro has a noticeable impact on the temperature of this room.
The moment you left, I'm just going to say this: the moment you left, the evenings dropped down to 40 degrees, and I was like, "Ooh, it's cold again."
Wow,
nice.
I have an EV story about that, but we'll have to do that later.
All right. Well, since Drew is kind of in a bit still somewhat of a production hell right now, I'm going to be driving the B-roll on today's video elements for the podcast. So we're going to dive into it and look into just kind of recap everything. And yeah, Drew, at this point, you guys, I'm sure, have already caught up with Drew's thoughts and synopsis on everything. I haven't caught everything yet, so everything you say to me will more or less be new here, but we'll kind of go over because what I will say right from the offset, I was in one element pleasantly surprised. I'm and in a whole nother sector, I'm just outright excited, and so we'll go over that. That's your stay tuned for the rest of this podcast because it's gonna be great. I'm excited. I see a vision of the next couple of years with Apple now with today's announcements that get me really excited. And spoiler, has nothing to do with AI. So yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I believe it.
Should we just get right to it and talk about the iPhone? I mean, we can talk. You know what? No, we'll go in order. Let's talk about Apple Watch. I'll do Apple Watch. What I will
The
say
recap
is,
video was backwards, so the
oh, was it?
podcast could be in order. Yeah.
All right, we'll do it. We'll do it in order. All right. How do I? Is it already sharing? Do I just click on it and that's that? Oh, there
Yeah,
you
we'll
go.
do this.
Here, I'll move. I'm gonna move redundancy out of the way here, but I want to see your face. There we go, like that. Okay. So,
Cool.
Apple Watch. First and foremost, I did take notes. I'm not gonna pull them up on here on the notepad
Oh,
just
okay.
because of things, but I
You're
did take
better than
notes
I
for the
am.
keynote. Apple Watch, and I already looking at my notes. I remember what I was rolling my eyes about. Okay, so notes that I have that are points of interest for me. First thing, the resurgence of jet black for aluminum.
Yes. What,
Yes.
we haven't seen him in a long time, have we?
Hello, jet black. Haven't seen you in 8 years. It's been 8 years.
Wow. It has been.
Yeah. Wow. Insanity.
And there was a good reason too, because it scratched like crazy.
So I'm curious, does this get addressed now? They had all this time to fix that up because they even used the name Jet Black during keynote, which was, if I remember correctly, the actual name of iPhone 7 was Jet Black.
Right, it was.
So that was cool just from an aesthetic point. I have zero interest in that part, but good on you for calling it. And with an asterisk, the polished titanium replaces stainless steel, which right from the offset, I was thinking polished iPhone 16 Pros. That was my first thought.
I was so nervous as soon as I
Yeah.
saw that. I was just like, dang it, don't go back to polish, please.
Yeah.
Like, why did they polish them? Why can't they just have a titanium chassis? That's what they used to have, at least.
Yeah. No, I don't know. But I felt like I was trolled a little bit because I was low key kind of hoping that wasn't going to be the case, and it wasn't the case. So lucky us. But when I saw polished titanium, I was like, "That's now we see what's coming." Oh, sorry, I'm getting my little thing in position. Okay, so with that, I felt like there was a lot of fluff in today's keynote, and
There was. It was very fluffy.
besides AI, which we'll crap on with iPhone, we know what they're, at least I know we know what the objective is for carbon neutral. So for them to take time out to be like, oh, this titanium is now carbon neutral and all that, I'm like okay, whatever, I'm fine. It's good PR, and at the end of the day, it's always about good PR. I kind of rolled my eyes about the whole carbon neutral initiative because fine woven is dead. And
oh, that's right. I missed that. Yeah. I mean, there are still fine woven wallets, but yeah, the cases are gone.
Yeah, but the cases are gone, and that was part of the carbon neutral initiative. My idea is like, just don't talk about it. Put that in a press release or something. Don't I get it. They're trying to be eco-friendly. It's good PR. I rolled my eyes on it because it felt a little unnecessary. A welcome change, even though I wouldn't use it. No different than having the volume speaker or like just having the mute switch off for iPhones. So now we got speakers on the Apple Watch that can, play music and do podcasts and stuff like that. I wouldn't do that, but
I'm trying to figure out what kind of personality would do that.
An older person, person who has bad hearing or something, I'm sure.
No, they get AirPods Pro.
They do get AirPods. That's right. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Wouldn't the iPhone be better at that? If you're just playing speaker out loud, like to me, that's not a selling point. I'm like, oh no, you just enabled a very annoying segment of the population.
Yeah.
I could just play it right here.
Check it out on a worse quality watch. Check out this new song. Oh, thank you.
Maybe it sounds amazing. I don't know.
I don't know.
I doubt
voice isolation on phone calls. That was something I remember them talking about last year with AirPods. So now that's over on the watch now. So I'm like, okay, I guess that's fine. The whole thing, this is what I highlighted mostly for like biggest recap is them pushing faster, thinner, lighter, like all the things you were expecting anyway. It's there. Good on you, I guess. They added depth in the water. So, okay.
which
I
was an
guess.
Ultra feature, by the way. So they're
Oh,
just
okay. Speaking
it's
of
just like
Ultra,
the Pro iPhones. They just
yes,
trickle down features now.
the Ultras. Let's see if I can actually. No, these are all accessories. Here's the thing about the Ultra that kind of I'm getting more and more confused by the minute. It feels like.
Okay,
Um,
ask any question you want. I'll answer it
so
extremely quickly.
Ultra Apple Watch Ultra 2, not 3.
There's
So it
no
comes
new
in black
Ultra.
titanium, and that was really its highlighted feature. I'm very.
Yep.
This is AirPods Pro 2 all over again.
Well, AirPods Pro 2 had a lot of new features, but I assume you're referring to the USB-C thing.
Yes.
Like that, in my opinion, was more substantial because they not only added USB-C to the case, but they also changed the modems on the pods, but didn't call it AirPods Pro 3. They just said you need the USB-C charge case to get lossless playback, which is like, what? That doesn't make sense. But with
Right.
this one, yeah, there's just some new software features they talked about today, like the sleep apnea feature is coming to
Sleep
the
apnea.
Ultra
Yeah.
and the Series 9. So that's not even a Series 10 exclusive or anything. So yeah, they basically just found a way to make the Ultra darker, and that's the only update.
My takeaway from the Apple Watch, and then you can add whatever your takeaway is.
Hmm.
I I I feel myself somewhat in a market for a new Apple Watch, but to me, I think a new Apple Watch at this moment might just very well be an Ultra One and off of Amazon, really cheap.
That's the one to buy.
I would find so much value in that. I like the
Yeah.
sleeker design, which is why I kept coming back to Series 7. Um, I have trust issues about how thin and light and all this would actually be. And at the end of the day, and I've told you this because you're the one who sold me on this, Drew. I uh I prefer to have sapphire glass over anything else.
Yes.
And but I don't want to buy. My attitude towards the watch is shifting because I've never been one to upgrade every year or every other year. I went from Series 0 to Series 4, Series 4 to Series 7. That's it. So I've only had 3 Apple
Okay.
Watches within the last 10
Gotcha.
years. So I feel myself in the market, but even then I'm not like committed. But if I do, I think as of right now, if you were to ask me, I would go with a Series 1 Ultra just for
Yeah.
battery sake and
It's
longevity.
very similar to the Ultra 2. There's very little
Yeah.
difference.
Okay, so it's not as bright. I've never complained right now with the Series 7, so I'm good.
And it'll be brighter than your 7. It's still an upgrade in that regard.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think the Series 1 is I just did a quick Amazon search on the renewed program just because you can try it for 90 days and still get all your money back. And you can find it for under $500,
Wow.
which puts it on par with the launch entry level pricing of the Series 10. So
Yeah.
I mean, my
Wow.
issue with the Ultra wasn't so much with price as much as it was the design. It's
Yeah.
just very rugged and big. And I noticed it catching on sleeves and hitting doors far more frequently, which is, I suppose, what Apple is trying to fix with the Series 10 is like, look, here's a thinner, sleeker watch, but still has the big screen. But the biggest detriment to the Series 10, in my opinion, is the fact that the battery life did not change.
I
To
hear
me,
you.
that's the main reason I think people would go with an Ultra is because they want to double the battery. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were hoping for that with the 10. They were hoping that Ultra battery would come down, but just Ultra display came down.
Yeah. I mean, I was whelmed at the end of it. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
That's
move
why they
on.
started with it, I think. They always
I
put the
think so
boring
too.
stuff at the beginning.
Okay. Now, let's move on to AirPods. And in this part, we're not going to go in order. I want to go straight to the disappointment.
let's please go straight there.
I'm ticked. I'm ticked.
I also want to say I'm a hypocrite because for a long time I've said even if they just added USB-C, I would love it. That's all they need. Just add Type C, and that's good. Well, Apple listened a little too well today because that's literally what they did,
Yeah.
and they did it in the laziest possible way.
Yeah.
Um, I'm okay. Tell me, why are you ticked?
Because the two notes I wrote down was USB-C and adaptive audio. So it catches up to AirPods Pro that's now had both for a while. So the name is a lie. There's nothing Max about this, for one.
That's a good point.
That's
There's nothing.
there's
What is
nothing
taken
Max.
to the max? The price.
Nothing. The price. I'm
The price
what
goes to the maximum.
the great, lovely. Here's why it upsets me. Because you don't even have the headphone jack adapter anymore. And people
Mm,
want lossless playback. It has an
right.
H1 chip instead of an H2. Disrespectful. You don't
Hmm.
have lossless playback even with the hardwire plug-in. You don't even have the adapter. This is the most prosumer instead of like professional product that we could use. I was really hoping that if AirPods Max gave me what I could do to you've seen my rig in person, you know my setup.
Yeah.
If I could have had the headphone jack just be compatible with lossless playback, then it checks all the boxes of what I need from over ears as a producer in the audio space, and also as just a consumer in playback because best transparency and noise cancellation we've ever had. But it just what a disappointment. For the record, I never said just put USB C and that would be good enough for me.
Mm.
I these are the same uh, criticisms. I'm not even going to criticize the price because we know we'll find them cheaper on Amazon not too long from now. So even the price doesn't even
That's
bother
true.
me.
Yeah.
Screw the colors. I don't care about the colors. But since we're on the colors, why in the heck? Why would you get rid of silver? Why?
Oh, is there no silver?
No
Wait,
silver. No silver.
I'm not in love with the colors, to
Starlight.
be honest.
No, there's nothing. There's nothing sexy about them.
I don't. There's not any of them that I've seen that jumps out at me as like, oh, I get like before Space Gray was like the cleanest pair,
Yeah,
but now Midnight has this like weird bluish tint to it that I'm not really feeling. I
yeah. Purple. These
None
look
of
like
those
iPad
colors.
colors from two
They
years ago.
do. They do. They look like very muted colors. And
Yeah.
honestly, this should have come out 2 years ago or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Whenever, like a year after the first gen AirPods Max, this would have been a okay update. But end of 24, this is a insulting
Yeah.
update.
This is good for 2022, but this was a hard drop. So anyway, um, I'll move on from that. But I am so disappointed, and this sucks. AirPods Pro
It's
2.
not worth reviewing, in my opinion.
I'm not even. They don't exist in my world. They don't
It's
even
like you could
exist.
buy $600 pair of headphones and show everybody, look, Type C.
Yeah, no, don't care.
Wow.
AirPods Pro 2, I would tell you, I feel like was a more appropriate upgrade. If anything else, to help with all these. I made notes that there's these medical terms that they were putting out there, but one, I'm thrown off that it's still AirPods 2 and not AirPods 3. We've been on AirPods 2 for 2 years now, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
So
AirPods Pro 2, yes, but
that's what I mean.
I can see the naming schemes with AirPods is a giant mess.
Where have we seen this before? So,
We need a quadrant.
hearing, yeah, we do. Hearing protection, hearing test, and hearing aid features. Um, I think all of those things are like really, really badass. I think that's really cool. Um,
Hmm.
if not for me specifically, uh, I know of use cases where if I had in-ear monitors and I was playing music live, I would like anything to help me protect my ears from loud noises up close, which I've been exposed to before in a musical sense and also in the military sense. So having anything that is helping you with hearing protection, I think is just Yeah, that's dope. That's cool. I'm all for that. Um, the hearing test, I bet it's the exact same hearing test that every service member has to go through, where they hear this little boop boop boop, and you have to tap it when you hear it. Boop boop boop, and it gets softer. Boop boop boop, and like, and it'll do on each side, and then you'll start saying, then you'll start getting paranoid. You're like, do I actually hear it or do I think I hear it? And you don't even know. Um, if it's as interesting of a like test feature as it is boring for actual medical equipment, then cool. You know, that's awesome just to log your health stuff and have a consolidated health record. That's what the health app is now becoming to me. I'm understanding it's an all-in-one health record, and you can have it on with you wherever you go, even if you change doctors or you move or whatever the case is. At least you can have some type of quick glance of your records, which I think is pretty sick.
Hmm.
I like that. Um, as
That is
far
cool.
as like hearing
It's
aid,
bizarre that they talk about it today, though. I'm like, this is all software stuff.
yeah. Well, was not the hearing aid introduced a long time ago with that guy sitting at the table looking and it amplified the person speaking to them? I remember that
That's what
ad.
I'm confused about too. Is everyone's like the hearing aid feature is great, and I'm like, that was a thing, was it not? I mean, maybe they're now saying that there's a FDA certified
Maybe.
certification
Oh, okay.
change,
Yeah,
but
maybe.
I don't know why that affects anything. A hearing aid's a hearing aid. Does it amplify the room's sound or not? Like,
Right.
and it's definitely done that before, but I guess it's better now. It's
Yeah.
a little weird.
So AirPods 2 overall welcome changes, but dude, the highlight of the day I think is AirPods 4.
Mm,
I think this is like the coolest update. I don't know what they mean by new redesign because it looks like AirPods 3, but what do I know?
we need
Um,
a side by side. I think they're a little less bulbous. I can't tell exactly, but
they said it's
um,
designed for comfort, but they look
right,
just I'm looking at them. Oh. Okay, you saw that animation? No, go back, go back, go back.
yeah.
Hang on. Can I go back? Watch. Right there, that part. That part right there. That's different. That might be smoothed out. That might be
They
smoothed
look a
out
little different, but yeah,
slightly.
I'm really not going to know until I try them. But if you go to the compare page, you can probably put them right next to the threes.
Let's do it. I think these are so cool. Just overall, I feel like Go AirPods third generation. Oh, I can see that's different. Well, that was not the photo I was hoping for. I can't really
Yeah,
tell.
it's not a great angle, is it?
Yeah. Can I click on threes? No, they've been discontinued. Okay.
Isn't it
Um,
interesting that they call it AirPods second generation, AirPods third generation, but then today they just straight up call it AirPods 4. They don't call it fourth generation.
yeah, it is.
I prefer that, honestly. I think that's simpler, not having to say generation.
So then let's do that with the AirPods Pro and stop calling it two. So $50 price difference gives you ANC and transparency and all this stuff. $50 more gives you basically everything that you would normally get with AirPods Pro, but without the silicon tip, which you and I have talked about this for years here. My favorite AirPods was the first gen. They were the most comfortable. Not even
Still
close.
for me, by far.
Best.
You've
Yeah.
probably noticed on my podcast recording all these years, I'm constantly having to adjust my AirPods Pro. Especially
Yes.
the hotter it gets, the sweatier I am, the more they want to fall out. And I love active noise cancellation so much that I've just put up with it. But if they can recreate that original AirPods feel in the ear, but just also add ANC, that
Right.
would be that would be massive.
I think for $50 more, you get the ANC, adaptive audio, transparency mode, conversational awareness, all the things that I've been using with AirPods Pro. These aren't the most comfortable in ears, and if the only genuine difference is the suction of it, you might have my attention. The case is also the same. Um, I want all I've ever looked for is the same comfort that we've had with the first gen AirPods. That's all I've ever wanted again. Those were my favorite. Not even close. Most comfortable. Don't care if they weren't the best sounding. They were the most convenient. And This has all that stuff with spatial audio. Like it has everything that you look for in the pros. So yeah. Anyway, that to me that was the highlight. AirPods 4 was the big winner for this category, and also maybe I don't know yet if it's the big winner of the day, but it is definitely the big winner for this category. So everything we just talked about right now for the how long have we been on now? For 30 minutes. Yeah, this is my so far. This is my most favorite thing. Not even close. So
It is. There's some little details you probably haven't caught that I'll fill you in on that
okay.
might warn people out there that I think Apple is doing a very obvious decoy effect with
Okay.
the cheaper AirPods 4 that are
Oh, the cheap. Okay.
$130
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
because it's actually not just ANC. That's not the only difference. Um, I'm trying to think of a good place. Probably in the compare page, but the cheaper AirPods 4 don't have a wireless charging case.
No.
And they also don't have a speaker on the case.
Oh, that I did know. Oh, here we go. There it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of differences with the case. Also, a little side note: the AirPods Pro have MagSafe charging, whereas AirPods 4 do not. Which is
MagSafe. This only has Apple Watch charging.
right,
Wait, I'm
which I didn't know
confused.
you could do. Isn't
Hang
it
on. Hang on.
weird? See it right there? No, it's right there. MagSafe charging case
Oh,
with
oh, you mean the part where it auto locks? What I have
well,
now.
just when it AirPods snap to this little puck.
Yep.
I guess
Yep.
it won't do that with AirPods 4. Um, Also, no version of AirPods 4 has the U1 chip for
Mm.
that more accurate, like compass mode for Find My. So,
I've used it a few times, and the Find My sucks for these.
really,
Yeah,
okay,
it does. Come at me, Apple. It
I
does
got
suck.
you.
I have
Trying to
not
think
had a
if
good
there's any
experience.
other deal breakers. Oh yeah, the AirPods Pro. If you
Yeah.
scroll up a little bit, they let you change the volume with touch control, whereas AirPods 4 is just a force sensor, just clicking, doesn't swipe up and down. Also, battery life is better on the Pros. So there's still some advantages to the Pros overall.
Does the Pro get? Yeah, but look at that. That is $80. No, how much? $50 more.
Yeah, but we know people aren't buying them from Apple. They buy them on Amazon for 50 bucks
Yeah.
less. I mean,
I if I'm being honest, even though I'm saying that I think AirPods 4 with noise, ANC and all that is the winner,
mhm.
I don't think I'm really in the market right now to upgrade. These ones are still holding up very well.
No, there's nothing
I'm
wrong
doing
with the
great.
Pro 2s. I think for a lot of people, depending on whatever fits your ear better, would prefer the
Yeah.
Pros. And they're not really that much more if you know where to buy them.
If I can go into the store and just put them on real quick without having to do the whole song and dance of buying and returning, I would like to check out AirPods 4 just to see what that feels like in my ear, but I
I ordered them just in full transparency.
to
So
keep or to review.
to review and then we'll see if they're worth keeping.
You and your maybes. I can't wait to talk about iPhone now. See
Well, if
what you
it
have to
falls
say.
out immediately, then I don't want to
There you
keep
go.
it if it's
Sure.
uncomfortable.
But if it
So
doesn't
yeah,
fall out all of a sudden, we
that
got
might be my perfect headphones.
it might be. All right. Well,
No,
do you have anything else
I'm
to add to
excited to try
AirPods?
them out. Um, I'm glad to see Apple improving, actively improving more affordable models. That's awesome.
Agreed.
Like that's a
Agreed.
refreshing take to see that AirPods 2, that original design, is finally gone. It's been on the website for ages. Um, I I wish they would have named the entry level model something else though. I don't think it's accurate to just say this is 4 and this is 4 with ANC because there's a lot of differences between them.
Yeah.
Um, they
With
also mentioned
transparency,
that the
adaptive. Yeah.
yeah, and the case having a speaker and wireless charging
That's a
versus
big
the.
deal.
I think those are like, this is just two different products. Just call one AirPods SE and one AirPods 4. That's what I would have done. But
Yeah.
what do I know? I don't run marketing.
Hey, wait a minute. Hey, hold on now.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really address a lot of my issues with AirPods, which is just that they don't age all that well because the batteries are tiny and they go bad after a few years. But um, I don't know. I definitely like using them on flights, and I do have some big flights coming up later this year. So
Yeah.
I'm also curious. I don't know if you have much experience in this regard, but how do you feel about having headphones without the rubber tips now having active noise cancellation? Like, do you not believe there's any issue with that, or will there be a lot of bleed through with the external sound? Like, I don't even know if there's headphones that do that.
If it has a proper seal, then it really doesn't matter. But like you were saying, and I've said this too, with the tips, they sometimes they slide out still, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, my transparency is still working just fine. My ANC is working just fine. Um, if they stay in your ear, as long as I think there's the main, because the design is still a little bit different with actually here, let me just pull it up right here. I need to go to, you can see right here. As long as this part right here, the concave that you have happening to the speaker itself, as long as that's covered off, all this other stuff, it's the same with AirPods Pro. Like it's a sensor base, and this helps
Hmm.
with audio pass through. So as long as you have an opening that audio is going through, then it's going to sound fuller and not so tinny. The main driving force is right here. Your main driver is right here. I think we saw a photo, right? Let me see. Wasn't there a photo showing the inside of? And there's your mic right there. So then you got your mic right here at the
Uh-huh.
stem. This is for air pass through, so that way you get the fuller sound. All that stuff is the exact same on AirPods Pro, but this part right here, as long as that's covered, I don't see why it wouldn't have an issue. I do not believe it would be as great sounding as the pros. I think the pros are, by every metric for in-ears, I think they are the best headphones, period.
Mm-hmm.
Because they do have the proper hardware. Like when you think of in-ear monitors that like somebody who's giving a presentation or a musician, they have it in their ear. Those things have the same, suction tips as well. So that way you have a secure fit. But if we're just talking about like, if you're not doing something that strenuous on it, then as long as that part's sealed off in your ear, it's more or less the same. I remember Beats when I did one of the Beats studio buds or whatever. Oh yeah, here's the photo right here. So your main driver, if you're watching on YouTube, the main driver is this big thing right here, and that's what's causing the sub, the boom 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 that's happening,
Uh-huh.
and it's pushing it out through this section right here. So as long as that got room to breathe, and you got your opening right here to get the air out, audio is going to audio. The wavelengths are still going to do its thing. It's all being pushed out through here. So I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, especially if you're not an audiophile. I don't think you're really going to notice one over the other. If anything, I think if the seal's broken, it's just going to feel like you always have transparency mode on. Every single time I do these podcasts and I have my pros in, I have transparency mode on, so I can actually regulate the volume of my voice, so I can actually hear myself in live time. But this
Mm-hmm.
is synthetic. It's not real. Whereas like if the AirPods 4 had that same happening right there, you're not going to sound so muffled, as long as that's all working in unison, or maybe the mic's picking up your voice, which like the pros are, and I can hear myself in live time. There's software magic that can happen, and just techniques as a whole. And where I was getting at with Beats is, I remember having the suction for Beats in my ear, and it was a perfect fit. I was like, oh, these are so comfortable, more comfortable than the pros. But the ANC was worse. So it's not what that taught me was, it's not about how secure it is in your ear. It's the product itself. It's the technology that's doing it, the hardware that's doing it. So if you got good hardware, you got good hardware, whether or not you're using a silicon tip or not, or evidently to them, just put it in and it's going to be good enough. It'll be interesting. I think you will notice improvements, but if you know what you're looking for, I wouldn't be surprised if it's not as strong. But if you're only paying
Yeah,
what I say 50
that's
fifty
what they're
dollars
saying.
less, then there you go.
The
Yeah.
website says that the AirPods Pro 2 and AirPods Max have like pro level noise cancellation, whereas these just have normal noise cancellation. But the website in the footnotes actually compared them to the ANC from AirPods Pro 1, which is what I
Mm.
use. So I'm like,
Oh,
basically, if I get these, it could just be the same ANC I'm used to, but more comfortable and with Type C and a
sure.
speaker. So
There is a
I like
noticeable
that idea.
difference. Yeah, there is a noticeable difference between the first gen Pro and the second gen Pro. I noticed the
Hmm.
difference, but not enough where it's like game changing. I think what was game changing is one, my batteries were just shot for one, and
Yeah.
two, you sold me because I have the Lightning one, but you sold me on the whole the MagSafe like clicking. I was like, oh, what a convenience. And if I remember correctly, I think I bought these off of Amazon too. I've never paid full price for AirPods, nor really
That's
anything for
good.
that matter. There's a discount anywhere you look. I don't pay full price for anything. So
I'm confused why they can't fit MagSafe. I wonder if it has something to do with the size of the case, because I think I heard them say this is like the smallest charge case
they did
they've
say
ever
that.
made for AirPods,
Yeah.
which I like. I'm all in favor of like how small, how portable. And they talked about removing the plastic and stuff from the packaging, but they didn't show it. I'm like, how small is the packaging? Because I don't know if you knew this, but AirPods 4 don't come with a cable. The pros do. If you buy AirPods Pro, there's a little USB-C cable underneath.
There they go, talking about that carbon neutral again.
Like, this is just a pair of headphones, and like I could see someone buying the regular AirPods 4 when they
Yeah,
walk in the store because they're like, "Oh, I just want something cheap." $130, and let's say they have an old iPhone 14, which they don't think is old because Granny's
yeah,
like, "Oh, I was just here a couple of years ago." So she
right.
only has a lightning cable, and now she has no way to charge her AirPods.
Oh yeah, you're right. I mean, that's
Hopefully she has an Apple Watch charger, but
I hope the Apple geniuses over there know how to ask the right questions.
hmm that's all I
Yeah,
keep thinking whenever I see these confusing lineups, like the Apple Pencil. There's like four different versions, and now AirPods 4 with all these different variants. And this case charges with this, and this case does it. Because I'm just like, man, the employees are going to have fun with that. They're just
yeah,
making sure this one doesn't come with a cable. We can sell you one for 19.99 or something stupid.
and a stand for $1,000 more.
Fully subsidized.
Fully
But I was
subsidized.
actually on the charging thing. I know this kind of throws back to the Apple Watch, but when
Sure.
they talked about the Series 10 being bigger and how it's thinner and covers more area, I was really hoping they were about to announce that the Series 10 supported regular Qi charging. I was like, oh, they made it bigger so it can work with
That would have been
a
sick.
typical coil, because then you could have actually made AirPower work.
Nope,
But
they're never going to address that ever,
that's true. They
ever.
would never acknowledge AirPower again.
Nope. That
It's
died
still
in
just
2017.
yeah, it's a very inefficient form of charging. But technically, the biggest problem with AirPower was that the Apple Watch didn't support Qi. And I thought, oh, maybe they got Qi to work on the Series 10, but no.
They figured
Um,
it out. Yeah.
I'm honestly surprised because they were saying on AirPods 4 that it still works with the Apple Watch charge puck. Um, isn't that magnetic?
Yes, it is, but y- y-
I guess
I'm
the
recalling.
magnets are more centralized, and maybe on this they're on the ring. I don't know.
See, that's the thing I'm trying to recall right now because I remember with the first gen AirPods uh, Pro. No, wait. Okay, Drew, I need you. You're better at this than me.
Okay.
When we first got the Gen 1 of AirPods Pro, was that a wireless charging case, or did you get to buy the case separate later?
I think AirPods Pro had wireless charging on day one. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because I have day one.
Because
This is the first
AirPods
gen.
second gen was wireless optional, but Gen 1 never had it. Gen
No,
2.
AirPods Pro always had it, I think.
No, I'm talking about the just regular
Oh, regular
AirPods.
AirPods. Yeah, yeah.
I remember you
Right.
could buy the case separate.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't remember which model was that for. Okay, so if AirPods Pro always had wireless charging, then I would say that means I always charged with the MagSafe Duo, and that means I was always able to. No, you couldn't use the Apple Watch charging puck, right? For
No, that
AirPods.
came with AirPods Pro 2. The regular AirPods, I
Okay.
don't think ever had
Okay.
Apple Watch
All right. I'm brought up
charging.
to speed now. All right.
Okay. It is a
So
mess.
it is a mess. Yeah. It is. I think, yeah, to go back to the whole AirPods 4 thing being so small and the case itself, I think it's just a physical limitation about why. I
Maybe.
don't think I do not believe that's where they would cut corners for the sake of cutting corners, unless they were trying to drive a cost down or keep it the same.
It could be that. They are very affordable relative. Like most Apple products are not sub $200. So the fact that we're getting
Right, yeah.
something with H2, ANC, and all the new features, conversational awareness, and all that for $180 is like rare for a company like Apple. So
Yeah. Okay. Well, I
look forward to trying them
thoroughly
out.
I look forward to seeing you bring up your thoughts on the AirPods 4, because to me that's the most exciting thing for me. Okay,
Good.
let's do this. let's address
You're
the
the
blue
main
elephant in the room.
attraction.
Should we do? We'll go in order. We'll do regular 16, then we'll talk about the pros.
Yeah.
First of all, the colors, man. We can never anticipate the colors, can we? Even when we know.
Oh, Randy, it says it wants to remind you that the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus have Apple Intelligence.
Look at that. Look at it.
They put it right there in the configurator, which is pointless because all of them have it. So why list it there? It's like saying they come with a display.
Hey, they come with Dynamic Island. That better be listed.
Yeah, why do they have to have a special badge for this? I don't get it. But oh my goodness, they redeemed themselves on the colors this year. After last year's was so bad with the iPhone 15, we actually have a white iPhone again. That's
Look
nice.
At that. Who would have thought? Not me. No, that's blue, Drew. What are you talking about? That's blue.
Yeah, it looks very similar to the blue of last year. But what do they call the blue one this year? Is it ultramarine? iPhone Ultra. There it is.
There it is. You guys thought the iPhone 17 whatever was gonna have an ultra slim. Nope, your first ultra is right here. And dare I say, I don't know if this is my favorite blue, but I appreciate the little hint of purple that's in it.
It's a really solid color. I hope it looks as good in person.
Me too.
I love the camera bump, by the way.
Well, we're going to talk about that in just a second.
Okay.
First, teal. This is kind of sick. I like it. Not my green. This is definitely my wife's kind of green, but I don't think she would go with teal. But she likes mint green, more brighter greens.
Mint Mobile's got to set me up with one of those. That's perfect.
This is a Mint Mobile phone right here.
It's made for Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Pink is actually pink, but so was last year's pink, but this is just a little more pink. White, blue is looking pretty white this year, and black is looking black. So let's do it. Let's talk about this camera system here. Actually, let's talk about let's talk about the camera first. I've said it already enough times before, and not that I've called it, but even when you think you know everything, you don't know everything. No one
Mm.
saw macro coming. I didn't hear
Yeah,
anybody talk. Nobody said
I didn't
macro.
hear that either, to be fair. I think a lot of people just gave up on it because it's been around since the 13 Pro.
Yes,
Once the 15 came out, which is 2 years later, and it still didn't have macro, I think a lot of people just accepted, oh, I guess macro must be a pro thing. They don't want to bring that down. But until now, finally.
until now. Let me see if I wrote specific notes on FIP 16 here. Besides the action button, and then we got the
That's
camera
good.
control button is what they call it. This new thing
Two
here,
new
which is
buttons for the
two new
16.
buttons, which is also your 5G millimeter wave, I think.
It is. I
Which
found out after I posted the video that my theory was correct on that. I'm kind of surprised, but yeah, they fit the antenna in the button.
I watched the video, by the way, Drew, because I caught you talking about this when I was in and out of your stream. Uh,
Mm.
it is a physical button. It clicks. It goes down. It's a moving part.
Yep,
It's an
I
actual
saw that.
button.
They had a
Both,
render
not
and
just on this
everything.
16, but 16 Pros, they all have moving
Yeah.
buttons. I think I welcome that. I think I rather have a tactile click that I know is working than the home button iPhone 7, style. I think I like the click
I
more.
think it's a combination though. I
It
think
is.
there will still be taptic feedback versus like a hard press versus a half press, but
Yeah. I think we'll
mm,
see more about that. We'll see more of what you're talking about right there on the pro models because of the added functionality. Even though they both have the what they call it, camera control button, they're not equal. They are different.
mm,
I made a note on that, but yeah, really. Okay, so look, my highlighted notes is 50% stronger glass than the Series 12 when they did I forgot.
ceramic
I remember
shield, I think.
ceramic shield. Thank you. I was like, what's it called?
Yeah.
So it's a
Should
little
be
bit stronger.
stronger, which I will attest is quite impressive because while I was at the place my wife was at during the week when we stayed with you,
Yes.
um, we had a situation where we're at the pool, phone, and the phone was like hidden under the towels.
Yeah.
And there was a point where the towels got picked up in the phone. Of course, the one time I didn't have a case, slid out and fell face first on cement, my 15 Pro.
Ooh.
And it made that horrible sound that,
Yeah.
and I was like, and I immediately thought, well, I'm getting a 60. But
I'm upgrading.
no, I picked it up. I looked around the chassis. I looked at the display. Couldn't find a single scratch. It fell directly on cement
They're
sidewalk,
taking
and I was like,
they're going to put screen
"Dang."
protectors out of business soon, which I hope does
I
happen.
hope so because
I
I don't
hope
like
so too.
screen protectors. But yeah,
No.
I was genuinely shocked. I was like, that was a screen shattering drop. I've seen screen shattering drops before. That should have broke it, but it didn't. So the fact that the new ones are even tougher is like, geez,
Yeah.
how's this gonna get any stronger? It's kind of nuts.
Before we continue, highlight of the whole event and why it's the best event ever since Dub 2024. We saw Air Force One in full glory. Air Force One in full
Mm,
glory. Just
that's true.
with the new, what do you call it? Visual intelligence. Everything has an intelligence now. Visual intelligence,
Right.
which is only possible because of the camera control. I'm used to saying the capture button. Camera
Is it
control
though? Is it only
is
possible because of the button?
yes.
They
Yes.
couldn't just map that to the action button on the 15 Pro.
Hang on. Let me go find it. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna hunt it down. Highlights. This is actually first time. Ooh. Oh, I get it because you can change your wallpaper. I forgot. This is the first time I'm actually looking at the website for this. So we're doing this in live time. There it is.
Okay,
Okay. So
let me pull it up here.
I know we have oh sorry. I know we have the the functions that were normally at the bottom of your camera, now those utilities was moved to the I almost said capture button, the camera control button. I think it only shows up when you engage with it, I believe. But
Yeah.
be that as it may, this idea of being able to use that as a quick action, like now we have what, four total ways to get to our camera, which is funny.
Yep.
Uh,
There's 4
it
different ways to launch the camera.
is four different ways, but because it's not an iPhone 16 without being built from the ground up with Apple Intelligence, uh, the button itself, camera control button, allows you to do things like search when you take a photo. Like that's the big claim to fame that the Google Cam or whatever it used to be called had.
Google Lens.
Google Lens. That was your
It's
thing.
basically Google Lens. That's all it is.
Photographic styles, as if their ears are ringing. This is the iPhone 16 is the evolution of all the things we got from iPhone 13, with photographic styles being upgraded, cinematic mode, or at least cinematic slow-mo with the 4K being finally added. And I know that's pro, so we'll talk about that. But my key takeaway from all things with the iPhone 16 that is across the board were upgrades that we got from the introduction of stuff from iPhone 13. So every 3 years, I think we said this out loud. I had a running theory that instead of an S upgrade, it was every 3 years we would get a proper like oomph on something. And if that's true, which is what I was always feeling, it's showing through again. History's repeating. Three generations later, we get better photographic styles, which I thoroughly enjoyed on the 13 and all things cinematic. But okay, hi A18. Cool. No more A17. So I feel cheated. I feel so cheated. Oh man, I feel so cheated on so much stuff. I don't even want the AI stuff. I just want the new Siri to be able to ink that. That's all I ever wanted. Never mind all this other stuff.
But before the Siri tangent, I just want to say I don't think the capture button. I'm sorry, that's what I'm going to call it. That's easier than saying camera control. That's stupid.
Camera control.
I don't think it's a good idea. At least, I think it's a bad idea for the entry-level iPhones because I don't think people are going to know how to use it. Like, it's fundamentally redesigning a lot of things that people have gotten used to. Like, for one, a lot of people like pull out their phone and they're holding it upside down. Yeah. And they've gotten used to the position of the power button, which now the power button alongside the camera button is symmetrical. So people are going to press it when their phone's upside down, thinking it's the power button when it's not. I've seen older people do this. I know the techies, the people who watch the podcast will understand, oh, yeah, it's a capture thing. You swipe on it and you launch it, whatever. But I'm saying everyday consumers who buy this thing aren't going to know how to do any of those things. And I think a lot of people have probably gotten accustomed to, I just press the center button to take a picture, or I press the volume button to take a picture. And now there's a way they can press a button halfway down and it won't take the picture. It's now going to just refocus or launch some zoom option, and then they're going to not know. I hope Apple makes it as intuitive as possible, but I still get the impression a lot of everyday people are going to get confused.
There's a correction there, though, Drew. The halfway down button is only for the pros. If you halfway down and this is where the capture, whatever we're gonna, where they're different. If you click and hold it only to like halfway down, it starts a video instead for the base models. I was watching I take it you haven't. I mean, I don't blame you if you haven't caught it because you've been, production hell. But you haven't watched any of the Apple videos of them going deeper into the new phones, right? That they posted. Have you seen those yet?
I haven't watched anything. No.
Yeah, they cleared up some stuff that was not in the keynote itself, and one being that You click and hold. Oh, there you go. Actually, right there in this right here, they're showing it. Oh, can I replay? I can. They click it and then takes a photo and then. Oh,
but no one holds their phone like that. Look at that picture.
Oh,
That's
sure,
such an
yeah.
awkward.
But when you position, but the idea of clicking, like when you click it, something's going to happen. It's either going to take a photo or it's going. If you long press, it's going right there. She's long pressing it here. I think that's a she. They look like female hands. Sorry if I'm misgendering your fingers,
But it says right there, a light press opens controls like Zoom.
Yes. Hey, can we get? Why is it, I don't know why it's blurring away. If we can show the thing in action. Nope, not doing it. All right. Oh, look at slides. Ooh, there it is.
That's my point, though. Is like people are going to try to take a picture and accidentally launch controls for Zoom.
To be honest, I'm not too worried. I think people had more issues with the home bar swiping. I think that was more confusing than this. I think we're having to relearn a UI for iPhone 10 forward was a bigger adjustment curve, and everybody's getting along just fine. I mean, shoot, my mom figured it out like that. Is this not a gesture though? To swipe?
No, it's a button. There's like another button to remember the function of. It's a physical thing that you can feel and see. And I wouldn't be surprised because I know a lot of people that they were confused about the home bar because of the removal of a button. So they were like, I'm used to this button being there and doing this thing, and now it's gone. Yeah. And that was replaced with a simple gesture. Now, nothing's been removed. There's just an additional way. There's an additional button to be like, what does this do? And it's like, oh, it's whatever.
I'm sure if it's in your pocket or the sensor that, the proximity sensor that knows to keep your screen on or off, I bet that's going to play a part in this somehow. That if the proximity sensor where the dynamic islands at is covered, it might not do anything at all.
I hope so, because in my opinion, it's right on a position where I would normally press just picking my phone out of my pocket. So I could see accidentally launching the camera with that position. I think it's kind of a weird place to have a physical button, but we'll see. We got to.
I'm looking for. I remember seeing it somewhere, and I know it's in the pros, but I'm just going to tell you my outright favorite, exciting thing of the whole keynote, and it's going to be here. But you know what? Let's just say it's on both phones because I know it's on both phones. I saw the specs, but we'll move to the pros. My ultimate favorite thing is 16 Pro. My favorite thing is. Boom! Gold stainless. Gold titanium. I mean, Apple Intelligent. Okay, so it's not that.
There's way too many intelligence references. It's everywhere.
We're looking at. I'm looking at this again for the first time with you, so I don't know where it's on the card. I know it's going to be a highlighted feature. Okay, no surprises on the dimensions. We knew they were going to get a little bit bigger. We figured out the color and
biggest one ever,
best battery ever for the Pro Max, and hopefully that means not as heavy. I hope that's true, but we'll get to my personal thing in just a moment. But
okay,
hello Apple Intelligence. Yes, great, lovely to see you. Goodbye.
No more. I think it's at the bottom.
Some stuff. Oh, I think you know what I'm looking for, don't you? Yeah, you do.
I think I do.
You do know what that means you like it too. Come on, yes. Baby. Come on. No, yep, not
no, further down.
All right. Yep. Here it is.
There it is.
Here it is.
That's what I'm looking for.
This, ladies and gentlemen, audio mix. Holy crap. Never would I ever have thought Apple would give music or any audio production of this caliber, this type of intense treatment on a device like a phone. And when you think about it, looking back, you're like, oh, it makes sense. Sure. But no, it makes sense on a MacBook for obvious reasons. 100% on a MacBook Pro because the speakers are amazing. The woofing bass, the whole frequency of the EQ is amazing. The mics are amazing. The way it can cancel out background noise when needed is amazing. But to have this type of post-production utility accessible to you in a way that, I mean, I've told you this, Drew. The best videos in general in on YouTube, or even let's say even movies, the silent killer, the secret, the trump card in your back pocket, if you will. It's going to be your best friend or your worst enemy. Is audio. It's always been
Mm-hmm.
audio. I've always been obsessed with
Agreed.
audio because it is the most subconscious thing. Because when you don't think about it, that's when it's doing its job the best. You want audio to just work the same way you want your phone to just work. When you launch an app, you want it to just work. Or when you open up the camera, you want it to just work. Audio makes and breaks all things with a production value. It does. You can have terrible video, and it will sound. And if it sounds like it would, like, I don't know, a AAA game or a feature film from Disney or anything like that, it makes all the difference. And the nuances about these different modes you can go into in post, that you can either have your standard as it shows here, or in frame, so whoever's in the video, or studio, so it's dampening, like it's being in studio, I mean, like you have those soundproofing squares on your walls, or cinematic, which means it's probably even going to pick up more of the background noise, but knows how to suppress the background noise and not just completely remove it. This takes things that I love about that adaptive audio from your AirPods, or ANC, or transparency. It's all doing the same thing, but bringing those tools to you to use. And you can, as you can see right here, you can increase the intensity on it. Is so sick. It's so cool. Things that you, if you could do less in post and just get it right during the filming, or in this case on your phone, then if I don't have to open up Logic and grab some of these tools that would do the same thing, whether it's a noise gate or a limiter or a compression, all these other more known tools that you would use to correct or fix or enhance your audio, and it's just here, and they give you the controls for it, dude. So now at this point, I will tell you, this is where at this point I was sold. I'm like, okay, I'm getting a Pro. I have to.
Yeah.
I have to.
I regret to say I'm in a similar position.
Welcome home, Drew. I knew Pixel 9 was never going to have your heart. You were just cheating on your iPhone for a little bit, but they remind us why. This is something for once. Here's why it blew my mind. I go back to that list we were like I talked about. Every year we can't anticipate what they're going to do, but 2 to 3 things we get something. At no point with the camera feature did I ever think the camera feature was going to address audio.
Yeah, I don't remember when it was, but do you not remember a time where I was suggesting this very thing? I was like,
vaguely
trying to come up with reasons to upgrade, and I was like, if they found a way to replace my Zoom mic, the 15 Pro replaced my Blackmagic, but if they found a way to replace the Zoom, that would be a really good selling point. And we haven't tried it yet, so I don't know how good it is, but this is definitely a step in the right direction, at least.
I will say for YouTube, if it's what they're showing, more than good enough. 1, 2,
probably.
I will say from an audiophile's perspective on me, and just out of self-love and stuff like that, it will not replace, because it's not supposed to replace. What I'm about to say, it's not supposed to replace. This is to make your camera experience better. With that, I will always keep using this mic, because this is my literal professional mic that I use for music and stuff like that. Apple has not shown an interest in attacking that space of audio for things that it can more or less fix or correct in Logic. I will believe the mic quality for what it's worth, depending on whether it's called because there's 2 types. You have a condenser or you have a dynamic mic. I will believe their mic is good enough when we can incorporate the mics that are happening right now, or if not this one, but in the future iterations of it, if we can incorporate them and output the audio directly into, like, say, Logic. And I'm not talking about that voice memo thing, which I think is really cool. We'll talk about that. But to be able to have the ultimate control over audio recording, because I'm not even talking about vocals at this point. If you can use your mic to properly record an acoustic guitar, a piano, or even a live performance where it's loud, but you're able to capture all the nuances of these big amps on a stage, and you're able to take that back and make a live video production or a music video out of a live performance or anything like that, stuff like that. Never mind what The Weeknd is doing, just in real use case that you're able to record some stuff and take it back and make a professional product out of that. I will trust the mics then, but I never expected the mics to do any of this. So the fact that they even did this, I thought you were just reaching when you said replace my Zoom mic. I'm like, yeah, that'll be the day, Drew. Holy crap, this might be the day. I'm so excited. This is the coolest thing.
That's probably the headlining iPhone feature of the day for me.
Yeah.
Just because it relates to me. I would love to. A lot of people comment like, Drew, you only care about what helps you in your life. And I'm like, well, that's what commentating Drew, is about. It's like Drew, showing how it relates to you in your life. I mean, what do you want me to rave about how the Apple Watch is great at ovulation tracking? I'm not going to dive into that. I got to talk about how it affects me. I'm not sure what other features. I want to hear how it affects other people's uses. Bring up, because I personally don't see how doing this is easier than doing this. There's actually a still in particular on that page of the 16 Pro that shows all of the focal settings and aperture settings moved up to where the camera control slider is, but then nothing around the viewfinder. And I'm just like, how is that better? How is it better for me to slide through settings up here?
You don't get it, Drew. All you care about is yourself. All you do is look for things that you care about for yourself. You just don't get it.
No, I mean, I'm trying. I'm trying, but I don't see it. But this is just like an objective improvement that, ironically, here's the funny thing I was thinking about. The microphone improvement actually kind of negates a lot of the reasons I wanted USB-C. I wanted Type-C so I could plug in my external mic. What if I don't have to use an external mic?
Now for you, since we're just going to talk about what you want, Drew, because you don't care about anybody else, now you can use that port, theoretically, to maybe invest in a small, or that too. Yeah, maybe even external SSD. I was going to say, for the love of God, get something to see when your video stops recording so you don't worry about system failure. But evidently they're addressing that too with the titanium. I saw the breakdown where they're like, okay, better dissipation of
That's
heat.
on both the non-pros too. They have this thermal dissipator. They had a specific word for it. I don't remember, but it's like a heat sink that apparently they claim it will do better, but we got to try it. We got to test it. But for those watching the video podcast that notice sometimes my video gets choppy and then I turn it off and turn it back on again to get it smooth, I'm pretty sure my phone is overheating. And like we mentioned at the beginning of the stream, in the middle of recording the recap, the phone overheated. So this is becoming an increasingly more common problem. Also, by the way, a case does not help. This case in particular just makes it hotter. It just contains all that heat. The titanium's not helping either, but I really hope that new thermal architecture works.
Honestly, I think that was a Gen 1 issue being addressed for all the right reasons. I feel like
the iPhone 16 with the A17 Pro chip, you mean?
Yes. I think the kinks are being worked out, and the 16 Pro as a whole, I feel is is the proper, man, how do I say it? I'll say it like this. And cards on the table, straight up, just like, never mind, Drew, you already care about it. Just this phone, if it's true, is built specifically for people like you and me. And
I
I've
feel
never
that.
felt more seen than a 16. I haven't been this excited since the 11 Pro.
Mm,
And I haven't been
wow.
this yes, the Pro is the right one than this one for you and me, not for anybody else. I think the 16, holy crap. I feel like a jerk saying, "Oh, the 15, get the 15. It's the best one." And maybe all the stuff that we got software locked out of, and I'm eating my words every day for it. And I know we couldn't tell that was going to happen, but like the 16 base model might be the greatest iPhone, just period, for everything it's giving, bringing over, and no compromises on. Minus, okay, refresh rate with the display, so it's still 60 hertz. Sucks to suck, but I think most people might not care. Whatever. I think it's cheap to use that coy to be like, well, the pro model and the non-pro model. I think it's kind of tacky in 2024. I think at least 90 hertz or something. It's not that expensive now to just put that display in there, but that's my opinion. I don't like that they're intentionally doing 60 hertz when literally every other phone that is not even this expensive can do it just fine. And even if it's $50 more, if Apple's like, "Oh, we don't want to lose our margins," and you increase it by $50 or something, I think that's a fair fair upgrade. But at the same time, if they want to keep it at $700 or $800, okay, fine. Everything else that gives you the experience with the iPhone, I think iPhone 16 is the best, greatest value, more than I thought the 15 could offer, just given, if anything else, the better camera system, and now all this software stuff that we know is not going to come to the older phones, just to give you the best bang for your buck. I feel like this is it. There's a few things I would like to see improved, not just refresh rate, but the overall, it's a toss up with OLED to have always on display or not. I feel very indifferent about it. I don't care. But for most people who aren't techies, iPhone 16 is such an amazing phone. But for people who are techies, or people who are YouTubers or content creators, or people who want to be I forget how they say it on Twitter, like on the ground journalism, or anything that makes you an independent something. I have never felt more seen and heard than I do with the 16 Pro. And this, I feel like, is the pro phone for people who aren't working in multi-million-dollar studios of any capacity for filming or audio. This is the perfect modern day like content creator phone, and whatever your content is. I thoroughly enjoy, and I'm excited for the 16 Pro. So there's no scenario in my world where I am not getting a 16 Pro. I'm gonna get a 16 Pro.
Wow.
I will sell the 15 if I
Wow.
have to. Wow. I will sell my 13 Pro Max here, or my no, I'm not selling the mini. The mini's a collectible. I'm not selling that.
Oh,
But I will
man.
sell everything
I was
else.
gonna
And I'm
say,
not. Yeah.
for the everyday consumer, I would still push them towards a 15 now that those are cheaper. I'm like, what does the 16 do that an everyday consumer needs
Type
over
to
a
Siri.
15? Nah,
Type to
they
Siri.
can turn it on in accessibility.
Yeah.
I still know a bunch of people that freaking never use Siri, including myself. And I think that most of these Apple Intelligence features are pretty
Yeah.
gimmicky and will not be utilized. And I'm getting 3D touch vibes from the camera control button.
I feel like the 3D touch was. I'm getting dynamic island from the capture button. I don't know
I mean,
if that's better
I
or
just don't.
worse.
I feel like Dynamic Island is so much more passive. It just like naturally does what it's supposed to. And sure, there's some extra features that it can do if you know to hold it down, but I feel like it's not going to be as like accidentally engaged as often as camera control might. Like I just think buttons are such a already people are like, what does this do? What does this do? How do I do this? And I always got to show it. You screenshot with the 2 clicks, and
Yeah.
then for Apple Pay you double tap this, and now I'm gonna have to specify which button on the right side I'm referring
Well,
to.
you got to remove yourself from tech support because you are the online and in real life self-proclaimed Apple sheep. You kind of took on that job when you're like, all right, well, this is how you do that. It might be a little bit annoying, but like muscle memory for anything else, I don't suspect it's going to be that much of an issue, but maybe because I do believe that like it's not just going to turn on by accident if you're blocking the proximity sensor. That's how I would. That's such an easy fix to address. That's the one that makes the most sense to me. To your
Mhm.
iPhone 15 comment, here's why I would say 16 over 15. That camera bump. My God, if we're not going to get the if we're not going to get the visor, at least we're doing
Oh,
something in the right direction.
I mean, it's a better bump. I agree, but I don't think the everyday person would care or acknowledge that. I just think
Better.
the sooner we get everybody on board Type C, the better. So that
Oh, so you're
is why,
saying the cheapest way to get to iPhone with
yeah,
USB-C? Oh, then you'll change your stance in a couple months when iPhone SE4 comes out. Then the 15 is completely
exactly.
obsolete. Yeah.
Pretty much. I'm like, don't at this point, I don't think it's a good idea to buy an iPhone with Lightning just because we know it's on its way out. And then it's going to be the 30-pin connector all over again, where you go to
We have one more
places.
generation with Lightning, and it's the 14, and that one will be out.
I'm hoping the SE4 kills it off. I think that would be perfect. If
Oh, like it replaces the 14?
Well, every iPhone SE in the past, other than the SE3, killed off an iPhone prematurely, like before
Right.
it was supposed to be killed off. Like the SE originally from 2016, I believe
5X.
killed off the 5S
Yeah.
before we thought it would be killed off. And then the SE2 killed off the iPhone 8. So I'm like, the
Oh, I get what you're
SE4
saying
needs
because
to
the
kill off the
chassis is
14.
supposed to be that of the 14 anyway,
Yeah,
minus the camera.
it's supposed to be like a 6.1-inch OLED with
Ah,
one camera, and I'm like, yeah,
yeah.
I think for the vast majority of the population, that's gonna be just like the perfect phone. But if you can't wait that long or you want an ultra wide lens, because the SE4 won't have ultra wide. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, be honest with me. Do you use macro mode a lot?
I haven't used it in years because I don't have a phone with it.
You have a 13?
I do have a 13. I have it right here. Can I do it now? Will it let
No,
me?
because you have to switch to the ultra wide.
Okay.
But that I feel like when you do this is the only time you're using macro mode.
No, if I to
Like
a
no one
lot.
needs
Okay, hang
macro
on.
mode.
So so
It's a
when I
show-off
say
feature. It's a
I
flex.
wouldn't say I use it a lot, but I would say that's I I'm gonna be honest with you. I have used it for aesthetic shots I was going for. Stuff that I was either trying to make an album cover or cover art for a song or something. I've used it for perspective zooms. I've used it for uh, more or less
Macro?
yeah, for macro. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And I was always just I was like, it works. But I didn't use it as much because it was so soft of an image. And iPhone 14 would have fixed that uh what they call no, not what was the upgrade to Deep Fusion? I forget the name already. Either way, it came in the 14. The 14
Don't
Pro,
remember.
I have it written down, but I don't want to bring it up. The 14 Pro, you would take the photo and then it would do all that post processing with machine learning and all that stuff afterwards. So I never tried it since then because I never had a phone since then. But if it doesn't take up a slot on your phone either way, it's better to have those options. Like I'll take it a step further. Wouldn't it be better to have all these features from lossless 5x zoom to macro mode on a single lens if it was possible? Wouldn't that be the ultimate camera system to just reduce all these other camera arrays to the perfect camera system? If you could just have the one, whether you use it or not, I don't use 1.2x zoom on the 15 Pro because it was for me pointless. But to have that option though, and it's lossless information taking that photo doesn't hurt it. It can all be gimmicky or show offy, but if you can actually find use in it, it's better to have it and not need it than I probably could have done with that one, and you don't have it anymore. And if you can get that at a not pro price, then yeah. But to your credit, I get what you're saying. I hear you. If we talk about practicality of it, most people won't probably ever use the ultra wide for that matter.
Well, not intentional, but what I noticed all the time when I had macro mode is you try to take a picture of something somewhat close by, and then it automatically switches to the far inferior ultra wide lens because it's like, oh, you're trying to do macro mode. So it switches to 12 megapixels and then crops in on this very low quality. So I had to go into settings and manually make sure it never did that. And I could see a bunch of people who are used to not having it do that suddenly get the regular 16 and go, crap, why is it jumping to that lens all the time? You got to hit the little yellow dot in the corner and then it disappears right when you try to hit it. Then I don't know.
It's our hope.
I guess I'm worried that these are getting too techy.
I get what you're saying, but I think it's our hope for those people who aren't techies that the A18 chip will then be good enough to process that accidental ultra wide to be a regular shot. You would hope that. What?
You would hope.
Yeah, you would hope.
The words accidental ultra wide make me chuckle.
Well, that's what it is, right? Because even if it's macro, what you're really doing is using the ultra wide. But if it's 12 megapixel ultra wide, it's not a good.
And it's cropping in.
And it's cropping. That's why it's like that 48 megapixel ultra wide, dude. I'm so excited. What if macro?
I want to try that out.
Oh, man. Dude, imagine the videos. I'm just thinking right now from a creative headspace. Now you have a 48 megapixel that you could theoretically, well, no, I think it's more than theoretical now, that you could film at the highest resolution or even lossless, and you can film in log in ultra wide 48 and use the whole sensor, and you could go in afterwards and crop it. Like the idea for you, I'm playing Tailosive Tech advocate here for you and your skits. Imagine the better, maybe like you can treat when you punch in with the 48 and you punch in on ultra wide and you're going back and forth on your whoever else you're portraying, you give yourself a better depth of a different thing instead of like, I'm on this side of the wall, now I'm on that side of the wall. Now it actually looks like it's a whole different part of the house or the backdrop as a whole, and you're able to just use more of that information. Because the thing that you and I have always talked about why we like ultra wide is you don't lose information, you just gain more information. So now get all that information, 48 lossless, punch that sucker in, because even at 4K, when you're punching in, you're not losing much data, you would hope. And it's not like ProRes, it's actually like really, really good. Dude, I just the opportunity of giving you more room to play with, even if you're not going to use all that space. If you want to capture that space, that's what I liked about the Final Cut on iPad. On paper, I never got to try it, but you can film all three of your lenses with your phone, right, and pick the one that works best afterwards. I like that. But I'm talking techie at this point. That's definitely a pro feature for it. But the fact that we can have those conversations now is exactly my point about saying why the 16 Pro is our phone.
It does feel very catered towards us. I agree. But I also still find it hilarious, by the way, that overseas, there's still a SIM tray. 3 years in, it's still eSIM only in the US.
But we get, or I have a question. I didn't catch it. Is the AI stuff coming to the UK yet, or the EU yet? Is it going yet, or is it just North America?
Yes, to the UK, not the EU.
They're doing it on purpose. You might have a SIM tray.
It doesn't comply to the Digital Markets Act, so.
Oh, dang. Sucks. Everybody was making fun of us about side loading and stuff like that, but at least I get a better Siri than you. That's mean.
They're really hoping everybody starts a revolution. Gonna have a new French Revolution. But the real question, since you just committed to 16 Pro without checking with the House and the Senate,
I will make it legal.
You're gonna pardon all crime. No. Which storage and which color and which size? I don't know. I assume you're going with the 16 Pro, not the Max, but
Yes, sir, that is correct. Because that's
okay.
another thing from the 13s. 13 Pro was the first time nothing was compromised between the two, and then it got compromised again. And I was like, dang it.
Yeah, they
But
kind of
now,
leapfrog with the
but the
compromises.
13 was the last time. It's like it didn't matter what size you got the same, unlocked everything. 2021 was the year of get the smaller Pro and MacBook Pro, 13 Pro, AirPods Pro. I don't know, but get the Pros, and you don't lose any of the features or the tools. You just get a smaller screen, so thus you get a smaller battery, and that's it. Screen real estate and battery. I'm okay with that. I don't. I've never been on 0% in the last ever.
I have many
You.
times. And this battery,
So
I'm sorry, it's been a disappointment, the battery life.
that's
I mean,
you.
the
Well,
health.
you push it way further than I do.
This
You
thing's
do. Like,
just hot all the time. It's in the car,
if you told me
wirelessly
you were gonna
charging.
go Pro Max and completely just contradict everything you've ever said about smaller phones, if you told me that, instead of me crapping on you and giving you a hard time, I would be like, I get it. Like you're
I never
working.
said I hate big phones.
No. But you find you saw what I'm happy. I'm good enough knowing that you saw what I saw with the value of the smaller form factor, but your work life has changed. If you said you were going to get a Pro Max, I get it. For you, I totally get it. For me, don't need it. Um, so
It's like an
yes, I would
iPad at this point. It's 6.9 inches. Dear God. But look at
except
this. Look at this choppiness. Isn't this is what happens. And this is why my battery health is at 93% after less than 300 cycles.
I don't even know
This
why that's happening to you because I've never experienced that with the base 15. And I feel like I push it enough, but you're pushing it way harder than me somehow.
it's the titanium probably.
That's so weird. That's so
If I pause it and
uncomfortable.
resume it, it's fine. So it might be a problem with the iMac Pro, which is running beta, but the fact that I lost footage today was very upsetting and makes me rethink the setup for sure.
I get it. I That's why for you, if I was speaking on behalf of you, I would get the Pro or stick with the Pro. However you do this, no. That's not true. It had to be a 16 Pro so you can use the new mic and
Hmm.
use that USB-C to monitor playback. Have some type of display. It doesn't have to be the most expensive or the biggest.
No, I think you're thinking of it wrong because the if it's a good system, you won't need to monitor the playback.
Yeah, but it's good to
If
see
I
for your
still have to
brain.
worry about it overheating, then we got a bigger problem.
Yeah, I get it, but like it's good
Seeing
to
that it
have a
stopped
monitor.
recording doesn't seeing that the recording stopped doesn't fix the problem.
No, I
It
get what you're
just
saying. You know
so
what it
I'm
is.
like
You need
straight
it.
to the SSD, bypass
Sounds
the
like
airdrop.
sounds like you need to get out of hot, sticky California and go to nice, cool Colorado. That's what you need. Then nothing
That's an even
overheats.
more expensive solution, but yeah, that would solve a lot of problems. So
But it is a solution.
yeah, it's one option, but
I
yeah,
don't know,
I'm
Drew.
very
What?
much in favor of because I tried to get an adapter so that I could plug in the SSD and the microphone, and it didn't work. Like
I've
it
had that
can't
same
do.
issue.
I don't know why, but for whatever reason, the mic either can't pull enough power or the SSD doesn't like riding through an adapter. So I'm like, no, getting also it's just impractical having the little phone on the top of the tripod and all this stuff hanging off of it. Like it's just it doesn't hold in. The USB-C port isn't designed to support that much weight.
True.
So then you got to get mounts and stuff involved and no. So I'm all in favor of just plugging in one thing to the iPhone. And if the microphone quality has gotten that good, that would not only save the step of having to use the Zoom mic, setting it up, turning it on, plugging it in, and everything, but it would also allow me to write my A-roll footage directly to this, and then I could plug that into the Mac and not have to worry about AirDrops, which solves my whole file transfer complaints
Yeah.
that
And
I was
you
tempted
don't
to
have to
switch to the
sync.
Pixel for.
You don't even have to sync up your audio because now
No,
it's. The more we talk about, the more I'm ready for this phone.
that's what I'm saying. What color? What storage? Are you a
Okay, all right.
128 gig man? Because it's still there.
I gotta be honest. Uh, I look at these colors, and for the first time, maybe I want to pull Drew and go white. I don't know.
Ooh, what a copycat.
I
What
know.
happens though if they release a midnight green in the spring? Then you're out
I right.
2,000
Well, we
dollars.
haven't got a new phone refresh in 2 years for the pros. It's been 2 years. The last
Yeah,
refresh mid cycle refresh was 13. So if anything, this would be the year they do it because I said every 3 years. So maybe this would be the year. Um,
maybe.
I mean, at that point, if I'm going all out like that, then what's one more flip? What's one more turning around the phone, selling it, and making
Mm,
making a little bit of a loss on it and buying it again? I don't know. The
yeah.
desert titanium is gold, at least in these photos. So I don't care what people
No,
tell
it
me.
is. It's
That's gold.
definitely gold.
I look at this, I go, oh, there's Nick's phone. Like that's my thought. I look at the white and I go, that's Drew's phone. Um, black,
Can I
I've
get a
already.
case that covers the capture button? Is that possible?
If you want it, oh, wait, hang on, sorry, wrong. There you go. If you want it, um, I think white looks clean. And you brought up a comment that's kind of been rent free in my head about better thermal management with white, which is true. It can
It just
dissipate.
reflects heat better.
You
Yeah.
think about cars or just light in general. Black dark absorbs heat. White lighter colors bounce off. Um, So in that sense, maybe even natural titanium. I feel like right now, I'm feeling natural or white. But the thing is, I want to see them in person. I'll go to the store. I'll take a look because they said the white is whiter and the black is blacker. So let's see. I've had black now for over about a year now, and it's cool. It's safe, but maybe I'm bored of playing it safe. Maybe I want brighter colors to offset some of my darker things. I would take a white or a neutral colored, a brighter color uh, MacBook or Mac Studio, Mac Mini over a midnight or a space gray. The darker stuff, I think I'm kind of just getting a little bit burnt out on. I've had it for so many years, and your comment about dissipating heat has just kind of been in my head a little bit because my phone, my black iPhone 15 gets warm more than it should. There's been times I turn off my phone. In fact, I forgot to tell you, it happened while you were here. I would turn off my phone just to cool it down and turn it back on. And I'm thinking like, that can't be good for my battery. I
Oh, it's definitely
did
not.
it at
Yeah.
least once while you were here. So yeah, I'm not. I'm thinking natural or white. Maybe white. I want to see it in person. We'll see. Because at the end of the day, the bezel's black for the border, for the front facing, so it doesn't really matter. Storage. Part of me wants to go cheap because save money. It's still
Sure.
$1,000.
That's what I
And
did.
like you, if you're just going to record external, I have two external SSDs somewhere around down here.
I didn't even think of that.
I don't need it. You
That's
know what I mean?
true.
Like if I have the external, then what I'm literally
If the
using
studio
is
mic is that good, yeah, I would be recording externally. So,
I wouldn't need the storage space ever.
mm,
And resale value, they say, and I think I've seen it in my own experience, so I kind of believe it. When you go to resell later, because inevitably I would resell, I don't trade in. Trade in is such a scam, you'll lose money.
yeah,
If you go to
you
resell
always
it
lose
later,
on trading.
the lowest tier like storage one sells the most. It's the most popular one for people to buy aftermarket, and
Right.
they hold their value the most. If you pay what is it $1,500 for a terabyte, you're not going to get close to even a terabyte. I would
No,
wager for
people aren't
a hard.
paying that much.
They're
No.
not going to do it. They won't do it. But people will pay if they know it's $1,000, but they want that one. And it's not like that has higher turnover. Every phone I've sold in modern history, recent history with Apple, I've always had the base model, and they sell very, very quickly. Um, So if the mics are that good, I don't need the storage. I'm not using the storage for anything but recording video, and it would have been for a temporary time. I film and then I offload. I do it right now. I'll film something that the stuff that you sent me from when we were at Garden of the Gods. I took the video elements of it and I offloaded it off my phone to free up storage because that was filmed at 4K. I will always move videos off of my phone, and it frees up the storage, both iCloud and local storage. So it's remained to be seen if it's an issue. If it becomes an issue, maybe 256. But I know I would hold on to it to resell it later. The lowest base tier holds the highest value. I've seen it with all my phones, and if it's take that out, just take that out of the equation. I'm not even close to filling up 128 on my 15. I'll tell you where I'm at right now as we speak, actually, because this will be the most realistic use case.
I was at like 90 gigs before I recorded the recap, so
I'm at
I can live with it.
Yeah, I'm at 73, so I'm good.
Fair enough. Those are good points. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, I don't care. Like if it's like you need to have 256 to unlock the ProRes, I'm not using ProRes. I don't care.
It's so far that I haven't seen that anywhere. There's no mention of that. So
there you go. So yeah, I think that's where we're at right now. That's my game plan. Maybe slight changes. I'll wait for the reviews from Marquez and everybody else. Obviously, I will see what they have to say, and I will get my hands-on experience at the store, and then I will wait until the holiday season for the extended return policy just to cover my own butt. But yeah, maybe right now I'm looking at a white or natural titanium 128, and if the mics are that good, then I'm set. Like I've never felt more seen. This is the coolest phone for someone like you and me. This is the phone.
Agreed.
And you know I'm telling the truth because I've never told you to get the Pro. I've always said, Drew, get the Mini, get the base, save some money, get the iPhone 15. I've never told you to get the Pro ever. So that's how you know I'm telling you the truth.
Because we knew that in the end, the sensors and lenses never mattered all that much. It was never about the sensor. But now that there's a big audio change and you're the audio guy, it's like, no, this is the year.
That's a big deal.
For us, at least.
The same reason why you record off your mic on your MacBook. You don't do it because it's a gimmick. You do it because the mic is that good for the MacBook Pro. Same thing, but just amplified. I have never told you. I've never recommended you to get the Pro. I've always pushed the Mini. Last year I told you get the go back to the white or blue. 15. I've never advocated for the Pro until this year, and that's how you know I'm telling you the truth.
Wow. Different time. Yeah. Well, it sounds like we're going to have a very early Friday once again. And we got to get some pre-orders in. But how about AirPods? Are you just going to Apple Store that one?
Yeah, I'm not in a hurry. I'll these things right here are doing just fine for what it is. I'll try to go into the store and see if it's comfortable. I'll tell you this much. I'm waiting on you, if I'm being honest. I'm waiting to see what you say. Because if you say those things are like phenomenal for what it is, I noticed the difference between ANC and transparency for the newer Pros, and I don't really care. I care about comfortability over anything else. We sit here and we do these podcasts for hours at an end, and I'm always pushing them back in my ear. I'm doing it literally right now.
I just did it. Yeah, I'm constantly having.
That's more important to me than a better ANC or whatever they're going to say. So I'm going to wait on you. I'll let you be my all right my trial to tell me what.
Fair enough.
If it's worth a darn.
Sounds good.
What about you? Okay, right. So before we go, what's your thoughts on 16 Pro? Like, you didn't tell me your build out. No, you didn't tell me your build out. I already know it doesn't. You're going to get the Pro because I'm telling you to do it. What is your build out? Is it white? Is it? Did I misread you? Would you get a different color? What's your storage configuration? What is your build out for the 16?
Before your whole speech just now about what you would get, I was leaning Pro Max just because of the battery and knowing that for my job now, I have to use my phone a lot. It's no longer an option to be like, I'm going to quit social media. It's like, no, you can't anymore. This is literally just your job is to manage social media accounts and stuff like that. And I do use my phone a lot, and I do have solutions to keep it charged, but yeah, I've killed it many times, and I know that the smaller the battery, the more the degradation. So that was where my headspace was at. Was just like, you know what? I like mini phones. I want the minis to return. But if you remember my whole skit about the 12 mini and the 12 Pro Max, it was like I like
Very
devices that are intentional about what they are. So if I'm not going to get a mini, I would rather get a max. I would rather get something that goes all in the other direction of like, okay, I don't have an iPad, so this can be my phablet, if you will. If it's a 7-inch display, like this can be a tablet and a phone, which is, we've been asking for a Pro iPad mini. There it is. It's a 16 Pro Max. There's your Pro mini because it's getting so absurdly massive now. But I am budget conscious. So I definitely don't want to encourage people to just go out and buy the most expensive thing ever. So I'm hoping that I can clarify to my audience, like for my use cases, the studio quality microphones are really important. If you're not making YouTube videos or online content for a profession, and I don't mean like as a hobby, I mean like full time, that's your income. It's probably not worth spending the extra money just for that. And I was actually very thankful to see both in the chat and people texted me personally. I'm not upgrading this year. There's just nothing worth checking out. And I was like, that's great. Like, listen to that. I've taught them well. There's a bunch of people that
right.
are just like, this is the year to skip. I don't care about the Apple Intelligence stuff. It's not that good. And I don't need a button just for zooming in on pictures, complicating the UI and all. A lot of people were saying, like, I ain't upgrading. Same thing with the Apple Watch. A lot of people were like, I'd rather have a Series 9 for cheap. Someone said either on Amazon or Swappa or something, they found a Series 9 for $200. And I was
Dang.
like, yeah, the bezels are thinner, I think. I don't know if you noticed that, but I think the Series 10 has a noticeable increase in bezel size
Oh, to
compared to the
compensate for the
7,
bigger
8, 9.
size?
I don't know what it's compensating for, but they look big. I'm like, that does not look like the Series 7 I had. And the bezels look big on the website, I know they're probably even bigger in person because that's always the case. But
I'm confused about the watch bands, to be honest with you. How's a 42 once small, now large? Is that the same now going for?
that doesn't make any sense to me. But apparently it's backwards compatible. That's all they said. How? I don't know, but it's a mess. The watch band thing is a mess. So I'm kind of glad to be out of that space.
So the large is now small, but if it's backwards compatible, then the large is also unless they're just lying, like let's just make it fit. Like the 42 is always the 42, whether you call it big or small. Like how like the iPad with the MagSafe, or not the MagSafe, but the Magic Keyboard Folio. It's technically a different size, but it holds the 2018 iPad just fine, and it's still docked even though it was smaller. But it worked just fine. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's one of those like great. I don't know. The watch thing is so confusing. But anyway, so continue on with your phone. With the phone, you got people saying this is not the year. Good.
That's good.
This is our year, though. If this is our year.
No, yeah, I don't like being middle of the road. I still don't really like the size of the 15 Pro. I think it's too big and too small at the same time. I'm one of those guys that's like, I either want a mini phone or a giant phone. I don't like this middle ground thing. And the new 16 Pro also feels very middle ground, like 6.3. Okay, so it's not massive, but it's also not mini. I would rather just have massive, but honestly, it'll depend on how the channels do financially, and we'll have to think about like if the better battery life of the Pro Max is worth spending the extra $200, because honestly, you bringing up the point about recording to an external SSD saves a lot of internal storage. That point got the gears turning in my head of like, oh, that's true. And right now I'm trying to record everything locally and on 128 gigs. That can be kind of annoying, but I am doing it. I am making it work. So if I didn't have to record any of my work stuff locally and I could offload all of that to an SSD, I like the idea of saving $200 while still getting those great microphones.
Yeah.
because it's money, and I mean that could be AirPods 4 money. So $200 that covers the price of AirPods 4, which I might really like and want to keep. So yeah, it's dependent on a few external factors, but um, again, I do like the fact that the bezels look incredibly thin on the 16 Pro Max, and because the screen is so big, that the ratio of the bezels to screen is even lower. So I'm like, that looks beautiful. Um, and because I'm using my phone so much, I am like, yeah, maybe I should just go back to being the biggest phone guy. I was that for a while. I bought the
I
six
remember.
plus, I bought the 7 plus, and I even after using the 10 for a while switched back to the 8 plus because I preferred the bigger size. And then
Yeah.
I had the 10s Max, 11 Pro Max, and it wasn't until the 12 series that I decided to go mini because they finally did it and I really liked it. But with how the work life is changing, I'm kind of like, yeah, it might be time to go back to that. I don't know. There's also just me feeling like in my family, usually the phones I buy end up being someone else's at some point,
Mm-hmm.
and most people in my family like having the bigger screens. So I'm partly thinking of like maybe I should buy the Max because someone else in my family is probably going to have it at some point, and they would rather have a big screen. Um, so yeah, I've got to have some talks, that's for sure. But
It
I
on
think
a
I'm convinced I don't need to review the regular 16.
yeah. I there's yeah. Just yeah. Yeah.
I don't think there's
It's
anything worth mentioning. But it's just anything it has is something we've already used.
the 16 is exactly your 15 Pro now with the capture button, and that's going to be on the Pros anyway. How likely are
Right.
you right now? Would you say Pro to Pro Max? Like, if what was you feeling? I'm hearing you say Pro because it would be cheaper, significantly cheaper, especially if you're going to go with the base storage and just use SSD, and that makes sense.
I think
Um,
I'll be base storage regardless. So
well, yeah, 256 don't feel too base storage on the Pro Max when it's your starting rate. That's why I was asking about, like, is there a something being locked out like ProRes or something that requires you to have more storage? Because, like, I've always called BS on that, but it didn't seem like
I
they're
think
just
it's
trying to
a
increase
read
your
write speed
margins.
thing, but I also just I don't record in ProRes. I tried it and I wasn't impressed, and I was like, nah,
Yeah,
this doesn't look that different. At least for YouTube content, it gets steamrolled by YouTube compression anyway. So I don't care as much about that. I'm like you said, I'm buying this for the mic. That's my main approach.
100%.
If there
I
was no
want
new
to see.
mic changes, I don't think it would be a debate. I'd be sticking with my 15 Pro. It would be
Yeah,
like, obviously, I don't need Apple Intelligence. I don't need a 48 megapixel ultra wide. That's cool, but it wouldn't help me in any specific way. The studio mic thing was absolutely like, okay, yeah, I might actually use that every day, all the time.
yeah.
Which I didn't think they would do it. I suggested it a few episodes ago, but I really wasn't anticipating it to be this directly catered to today. So
Like I said, I
it's
feel
kind of like,
seen and
oh,
heard. If there was no if there was no mic thing today, I think I was still leaning towards, like, just finding a used or an older, not used, but 15 Pro myself, just so I can have all the features and have, always on display and
I might have one on the market pretty soon.
I don't want yours though. By the way, that's not. Listen, that's not the case.
You know
I
how I've
I,
abused it.
I spend. I would spend.
I've never dropped it on concrete or anything. It's fine.
I would spend the least amount of money possible and have the same access to them. I'm buying it for the mics and the built-in.
I like
This is
that
the
argument. That's a good point, and it makes me want to go with the normal Pro, even though that isn't the size I like.
when you want, if you're looking at it as a tool for work,
Yeah,
there's nothing proprietary or better or more enhanced on the Pro Max or a bigger screen or a higher storage. For once, we are all same playing field, size within the screen and size within the storage. And if that's the case, I would go as cheap as possible and get the same suite of mic applications unlocked for me than I would a Pro Max or if I needed like half a gig or half a terabyte or anything like that, I would go the cheapest route possible to get the best sounding mic possible. And $9.99. Well, I mean, I'd use my military discount, but all things considered, $9.99 for having that is the first time I'm over here saying like this is absolutely worth. I have not been
That
this excited.
surprised me. I was expecting a price hike anyway. So
Yeah, me too.
this is a pleasant surprise. It's like after all these years, they're still sticking with a $9.99 price, which
I mean, it's getting cheaper because inflation is the thing.
Yeah, it is. Someone tried to argue with me in the comments. They're like, inflation's at a 3-year low. There's not, and I was like, that doesn't mean there's no inflation.
Yeah,
like inflation only slows down. It doesn't.
There's
stop.
no dollar menu anymore.
It doesn't reverse. Yeah. Have you seen Little Caesars Pizza? There's inflation. Okay. It may not be as high as it was a few years ago, but
there's no $5 hot and ready's anymore.
Oh, heck no. It's not even $8 anymore. It's up to like $9. So I'm like, there is absolutely still inflation. $1,000 today is not the same as $1,000 in 2017. Anyone who tells you otherwise doesn't pay for their own groceries.
Facts.
So
facts. Yeah.
That's why I'm like, $9.99 now is probably more like $800 back in 2017.
And now we get these beautiful mics. I can't. I'm too stuck on it, man. Like, because you're right.
They might be overblown. It might be overhyped. I don't know.
That's why I'll wait. But I want to be an optimist because I'm tired of being so cynical about the new iPhone. I feel like even if it's not what we are imagining right now, I still feel heard, seen, and Apple's trying to talk to our level of content creation. And just the fact they're even willing to even give that a shot and a try, I will pretend the new gen AirPods Max don't exist. And I'll be like, all right, fine.
We will forgive that.
I'll forgive it.
We will give them the stupid AirPods Max.
Exactly.
Apple Watch Series 10 was disappointing, but genuinely, we don't know. We don't have many suggestions for them. We're not giving them much. We're like, I don't know, better battery. And they're like, just get an Ultra. And they're like, okay, fine. But yeah, there was room for improvement, a lot of room for improvement with AirPods Max. Not a lot of room for improvement on the Apple Watch. It's kind of peaked. It's kind of matured. So they're trying to figure out what to do with that thing. They're like, bigger, I guess. Just make it big. The iPhone.
You're sleeping funny now, so we'll let you know about that. You're not breathing when you sleep.
I know that. I didn't need a watch to tell me that, but
I have a wife to tell me that.
Exactly. Right. The 16 Pros, I think they probably nailed. We'll have to test them to see if they really fix the heat problems. And but I do think that the camera control button is a little bit over the top. I think that's a sign of the hardware team not having enough to do and trying to come up with things to keep them busy. It's like, I don't know. I have a feeling that everyday consumers are going to get annoyed and confused by it. I hope I'm wrong. It would be great if everybody
like the hardware team needs to be working on something like a foldable or something.
Maybe we'll get there. Apple will tell me next year why I need one.
Yeah. And if not that,
because you know what? It's going to have a display on the outside, and that'll show me when my phone overheats.
And then with the same mic array for $1,500 or whatever, I wouldn't do it. Me personally, I still wouldn't do it because I use OBS as my monitor that tells me things. I just pay attention that way. That's my setup. So,
well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Apple sheep has returned.
I told you all. They even told me in the comments in your stream. They're like, Randy, what do you think? I was like, I knew he'd come home. He was never going to leave us.
I don't know. I'll still
Apple
try out
always
a Pixel
has a
at
way.
some point. But
you can. Listen.
If the studio mics aren't on the Pixel, it's kind of a deal breaker now. So
you're not married to iPhone, so technically you could cheat on iPhone all you want, but you'll always come back. I held it down, ladies and gentlemen. The Apple sheep made sure our OG Apple sheep came back home because It was getting kind of gray out there. I was getting a little scared, but Apple always has a way to surprise us. And this time it was through audio, through mics.
That really
I
wasn't leaked or rumored, was it?
no.
I
This
really
is
don't recall anybody reporting that, and that was exactly what I was asking for. Oh,
we didn't even know we needed it until we heard it. And not in the reality distortion field type of way. Like literally, their goal is to kill all these cables and wires, however
mhm.
possible, and reduce clutter in all our peripherals and stuff like that. This mic right here, there's a scenario where it can be retired, and I'm like, huh, who would have thought? This is
Wow.
so cool. Wow. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So
All right.
Apple has won my hard-earned money. I don't even care.
White titanium, by the way. I won't budge.
Maybe I
If
should do
we're talking
something.
aesthetically, I really like the look of the black titanium, but purely I'm trying to remind myself tool, not toy. Tool wise, white titanium is functionally going to be the best color. But
Your
the other,
whole thing about the heat dissipation has scared me from going towards the dark side.
I'm not, I think it looks gorgeous, but I've got a
Yeah.
good like white theme going here. I got white AirPods, I got a white car with a white interior. So I have to keep it going.
Speaking
But
of the dark side,
if you go to the compare page, the white titanium is brighter on the 16 Pro than the 15 Pro.
how do I compare at the bottom?
No, it's at the top. If you scroll all the way to the top, hover your mouse over the iPhone,
Okay. Oh, I got you.
and
I
then
think
go
go to
down,
compare.
compare iPhone.
Let's
And
do
then
it. 16 to let's do 15 Pro Max because it doesn't matter. I can
Mhm.
already tell. Wow.
They just made it look. They made my phone look yellow. What the heck?
This looks
Come
like
on.
natural titanium.
Dang it!
Whoa.
They are different.
How weird. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Desert titanium is cool, but it's the new color, so I know everybody's gonna buy it. So I
It's
don't.
gold. It's just
don't
it's
want it.
rose. It's that blend between gold and rose gold again.
It
I'm not
really is
into it.
just gold.
I don't like it. This does look a little different. I don't know if it's because
It's-
of the hue.
Yeah,
that's
it is
happening,
different. Also,
but-
someone pointed this out. The 16 Pro wallpaper is literally just a variant of the iPhone 10R wallpaper.
Oh, and I love the 10R.
But here's your. Oh, never mind. The box doesn't support my theory, but it does.
But you're
It
right.
does look very familiar.
That's okay. I like bubbles.
Switch the 15 Pro Max to a 10R. Maybe they have it on there.
Here, I'll do it like this. I see what you're saying. They do have it. No, they do.
It's under 10S Max. There you go. Nah. Okay, never
Wait.
mind. It's not what I thought.
Wait, hang on.
Ooh, that blue 10R was sick. That's a really good color.
I loved that phone. That was probably like if we're just talking aesthetic, that was my favorite size. That was my favorite everything. I love that
That
phone.
was good.
There's no blue, huh? Okay, so there's no blue. So let's just do black. It's kind of like I think the white one showed it a little bit more. A little bit. There's something's there. It's what's crazy is you're right. Your phone looks like it's been yellowed in the sun.
I know. How
Look
did
at
they
that.
do that?
It looks yellowed. These natural titanium and white
How did they do it?
look the same.
Yeah, those
Okay, when
look
you go-
closer, even though they're different. Whoa.
That's why these. Whoa! But then we do
You
natural
can't keep
titanium.
getting away with it.
That's trippy, and we can't ever see it in person because they won't have them in the store. But
Well, I'll bring my phone.
there you go. Look at that.
They won't have it, but I'll bring it.
The natural is your white. That's so. Yeah, I might have to go white. That's so clean. That's so clean. Anyway, so
Are we
so I
going
was
to be
talking
phone
about
twinsies? Is that
maybe. If not, I'll do. It's either going to be white or natural titanium. I don't know yet. But I can't go to the dark
Agreed.
side, and I wanted to end the recording today with the podcast of the dark side, saying rest in peace to James Earl Jones.
Mm,
He just died today,
wow.
a few hours ago. I'm like, oh. He was in his
That's a big
90s.
one.
I get it, but I'm like, dang, dude.
Long,
A
happy life, I
childhood.
hope.
My dad, me, and my younger brother all know that voice. My Mufasa, my Vader, my just oh man. So
CNN.
CNN. He was also in just
Uh,
whatever. But yeah, he
I can't
passed
believe
today. So
Clint
like,
Eastwood outlasted him. And Dick Van
dude,
Dyke.
Clint Eastwood looks like a skeleton. I can't even make his face. I can't even do it. Any older, I would have thought he was part of Congress.
Beautiful.
He's almost as old
All
as
right.
Mitch McConnell.
Beautiful.
Insanity.
We'll see you all next week.
Bye, everybody.